Hello and welcome to the Control Zone video game podcast, episode 4. I am your co-host, Rob, aka Predaking79, and with me as always is...
It's Rikki. Hi, Rob.
Hello, my friend, hello. Welcome back, listeners. I told you it wouldn't be 3 weeks that we were away. This will be a bit of a break over Christmas, but now we're gonna try and be at least every 10 days or so if we can.
Yeah.
But we are back with a new episode. So how are you, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well, yes. Well, I personally am very well. It's just all the others around me who are falling over. So I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on in a minute, actually. But yeah, other than that, looking forward to this. I'm actually looking forward to getting back into a little bit more gaming, which a bit more variety. I think January is a terrible month for anything new to discuss and talk about. So it's all about, it's not quite retro, but it's certainly going back and playing a bit of the old library, really. But yeah. Cool. So yeah, how are you?
Yes, I'm not too bad. This week we've got a few news stories, a few bits and pieces, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we're going to do a spotlight as well on a more modern game than we have been covering, but certainly not a new game, but one that's a bit more modern. This week's been pretty cool. My mum popped over earlier in the week and basically gave me a couple of birthday presents early, so because it's on my birthday in about 10 days' time.
Really? Okay. What? Okay. Shit. Yeah. So what did you get? Anything?
Well, I got one. I got. This won't mean anything to you, but for those nerds out there who are into their toy collecting that may be listening, I got a Transformers Masterpiece Acid Storm. Do you know what that is?
No, but I'm more interested in your mother buying it for you. Did she go into a toy store?
We did. It's in Toys R Us. Okay, it's normally it's like a collector's Masterpiece series of Transformers. It's like a collector's line, so it's real top end stuff. I mean, a lot of the figures are over £100. This one was 75, but reduced down to 50. And basically, my mum had got me one of my Christmas presents. She'd got me this T-shirt, and I was like, "It's a bit crap. Can we take it back?" And Mum, sometimes your parents buy you stuff, and you're like,
"Yeah,
you got the receipt." She's like, "Oh no, we'll just give it to your dad, and I'll pick you up. We'll meet up for a coffee one day and buy another T-shirt." I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So we met up and popped into Forbidden Planet, and the intention of getting a new T-shirt, but there was nothing in there at all. It was all sort of crappy Doctor Who stuff, and not that I don't dislike Doctor Who. I watch it, but I wouldn't say I was a hardcore fan. I wouldn't go around wearing a replica Woody jumper from the Tom Baker era.
No, we're just go on.
we're all geeks, but we have our certain affiliations.
Yeah.
So she said, "Oh, what do you want now?" I said, "Oh, well, maybe we could go, put it towards this figure that's in Toys R Us, and part towards birthday and stuff as well."
Yeah.
So she's like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Does she ever question your
my obsession with vintage toys?
Yeah. Well, because I don't think I don't know. Do parents see it as a sort of vintage toy, or do they sort of? Oh, I'm really worried about Rob. He's approaching the 40s, and
hey, easy. I'm not even 35 yet.
Well, you're on the road. You'll be there one day. So.
No, I don't think so. I think well, they might do privately, but no, no. It's not. It's just a hobby and something to collect, isn't it? And I've been collecting these things for best part of a decade, to be honest, so they're kind of used to it now.
It's kind of like you've come out as a toy user. Do you know what I mean? Like parents are with my parents, I usually say, "I'll give me vouchers or money, and I'll go off and do what I need to do."
Well, no, it's very very obvious. You've been around my flat. There's glass cabinets full of things, so it's not something I could hide.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I suppose it also. Do you know what? This reminds me of many years ago. My old man said, "What would you fancy for Christmas?" And I really quite fancied this CD.
Yeah.
And so I gave him the name of it, and off he went to HMV to pick it up. And I always sort of remember kind of opening it up Christmas Day, and on the front cover was a Vietnamese girl with a gun to her head, and it was an album called Nail Bomb. And I kind of remember kind of wondering how he approached the clerk to say, "Excuse me, do you have the latest Nail Bomb album?"
Well, I remember when I was sort of in my teenage years at school and stuff, I was really big into Games Workshop and Warhammer and that sort of thing. And you know the stuff, yeah, the wargaming things, like the little lead miniatures. And I'd always every year it'd be asking for a list of new figures for my army or whatever I was collecting at the time. And Mum used to go into Games Workshop with this list, and and you get these sort of rather creepy looking blokes in their probably early 40s with receding ponytails, greasy hair, and massive beard bellies. So I'm saying, can I help you, madam? My son would like these. Do you play the games, madam?
Come down to our dungeon.
Yeah. I'm not saying that all Warhammer gamers are like that, but a lot of the Games Workshop staff that I recall did seem to fit into that niche. Because I used to play those games, and But,
yeah. So this toy, what do I call it? I call it a toy. Is it got a?
No, it's a toy. It's
okay.
a toy. I mean, it's a
collectible toy. That's better.
But
are you going to review it on your channel?
My YouTube channel? I will be. Yes, I will probably review it later in the week. Because most of the stuff that I review is like vintage stuff, but obviously this is a new one.
Yeah.
But no, it's very, very cool. It's lime green. It's very stands out.
So did you get anything else, or was that?
I did. The other thing I got, which I haven't got yet, but it's a ticket to Saints Arsenal next week.
Oh yes, yes. League game, yes.
Yeah, which is cool because it's difficult normally to get tickets against the bigger clubs when they come down to St Mary's, but because it's a midweek evening game. It was a bit easier, I think. So.
Did you catch the Saints game at the weekend? Did you see?
No, I've been working over the weekend.
I'll tell you what. The first. I know we shouldn't talk football, but
that's all right.
First 20-25 minutes, they looked world class.
Mm.
You know, sometimes Barcelona have that peak point where everything they do works.
Yeah.
And for some reason, on Saturday, Saints looked absolutely unstoppable. It's just they just, I think they're almost too attacking, and then by the second half they'd run out of ideas, and then they nearly lost it in the end. But bloody hell!
Yeah, I mean Sunderland scored, didn't they, straight after our second goal?
Yeah, that deflated.
I take a point. I mean, I know Sunderland is struggling, but point away, they're starting to pick up form, and we've had a difficult week, haven't we, with the chairman going? So I take a point.
Well, actually, I read. I know I shouldn't talk about this either, but I read last night that there's a Chinese billionaire who's in the wings to buy the club.
Yeah,
and if he bought them, that would make them the richest team in the Premier League, a bit more than Man City. So
well, this is the thing. People are getting all funny about Saints that the chairman wants to sell it because she's got no interest in football. It's a fanatic for her, and she wants to sell. Fair enough. Look at least it's a desirable club that is an established upper 8, upper 9 Premiership team, decent ground, big fan base, decent facilities. It's very attractive for someone to come in as long as they don't do a. If you look at like Hull and Cardiff and the trouble that they're showing, Saints are different because we're a bigger club than those two clubs. The chairman had to chuck a lot of money into to progress them and get them into the Premier League. It's so the fans possibly have to take it with a pinch of salt with the stupid stuff that the chairman have done. So I'm positive. I mean, we've got the manager to the end of the season at least.
No, it should be quite good. Good. Hopefully,
we've got to remember we were in League 2 4 years ago. League 1 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Can't mind too much. Could be Pompey.
Yeah. blimey, they're in
1 point above the relegation zone in League Two.
Well, we may have some listeners from the Portsmouth area, so we better be nice.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But if you're a Saints fan, you're always gonna. And they didn't spare us any punches when we were in the shit.
No, of course not. No.
But anyway, that's enough digressing about football.
So your birthday's is it January or February? What, you say 10 days? Is that?
It's January the 31st.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay, you gonna do anything? You gonna?
I'm doing sort of stuff with the kids. We're going up to London for the weekend to see my brother. We're going to go to the Natural History Museum and the Science Museum.
Oh yeah.
His kids haven't been there before, and I haven't been there for quite a few years, at least probably 10 years.
Hasn't changed.
I'm sure
the history bit hasn't.
That's fun. They've made up some new stuff. Yeah, they made up a new dinosaur.
Well, I've got a bit of a theory about all those anyway, but I think evolution proves me wrong. But we'll leave.
Did you think it was just a few blokes in a pub going, "Yeah, this bit goes here"?
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, that'd be cool. And I haven't seen my brother's new place. He only moved in like September, so
okay.
that'd be cool. And then this weekend coming up is my nephew's birthday. So it's a bit crazy because we have my birthday, the son's birthday, my nephew's, and my dad's all in the space of 2 weeks.
Wow. That's a bit like my December. It's both my kids' birthdays plus Christmas, and it's and plus I think the other half's mum as well, and gran. So it's a crazy month, December. And I think I used to have car tax and insurance as well in that month.
Oh god!
Was it MOT and car tax? I think I had in December. That's moved now, but
yeah, always fun.
I used to hate it.
Yeah.
There we go. Shall I tell you what I've been up to then?
Yeah, come on then.
I think it takes a lot to guess. So, mentioned last week, my old man's in hospital, still is. He's looking really poorly the other day, but spoke to him last night, and he seems a lot better, a lot more with it. So he actually had something put into his heart late last week, so to open up the valve, whatever that does. Yeah. And then the wife's gone in. So Bonnie's in hospital. Oh, probably shouldn't use the name. Oh, it doesn't matter. No one's listening to this anyway. So so she's in there. She's got something wrong with her and has had for many years, and it's flared up. So I'm home alone with the kids. Yeah, so you're off work this week, aren't you? Yeah, so yeah. Well, they've been very, very good to me. I was in a bit of a mess last week with sort of Thursday, Friday. I just didn't know where to go. What to do, and they just said, "Look, take some time." Yeah. So record a podcast and play those video games. No. Of course, I can only go up and see my dad when it's visiting hours, and then hopefully the other half should come out of hospital today. So. Awesome! Fingers crossed. Yeah. Well, she'll only come back here and go to bed.
Yeah, but at least she's back home. That's the main thing.
That's it. Yeah. So of course, over the weekend it was like there's no mum to nag and scream. All of us. So we basically had a gamer weekend, me and the kids. So it literally was, I
know exactly what you mean, because when my kids come over, it's just let's just go crazy and crash the flat and then go back home.
Exactly. So because I think the weather. I can't really say the weather was crappy because it wasn't too bad. we just had a chill out weekend. I mean, George had a cold as well, so he wasn't feeling great. So he probably did his obligatory 40 hours of Minecraft over the weekend, and
he certainly was on there every time I logged on.
Well, the thing is, he's playing with his little cousins.
Oh, okay. So
all I can hear are these high pitched squeaks coming from the bedroom. Come here, do this. I found diamonds. It's all this gobbledygook coming out, and they're all screaming at each other, but not screaming, but their voices are really high. And I've got it set up so he doesn't have to wear the headset, so he can hear the voices out the TV. Yeah. But the microphone is still plugged into the controller and poking up in the air, so he can talk into it when he needs to say something, because he doesn't like wearing a headset.
Right. Okay.
So and then of course the daughter she joins in, and it was hilarious. Well, it wasn't for her, but there was this they got into the habit of allowing people to randomly join their worlds.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many they can have. There was about 6 of them on there. And Amelia had built this really cool house. Really good. She's absolutely amazing at Minecraft. Their imagination just runs wild. And this guy joined and set fire to it.
Oh no!
And she was absolutely uncontrollable with, hysterical crying and that.
Oh.
But we had to kick the guy from the world. She just didn't get it. She's only 6.
Yeah.
And, nasty people come in and do, so she's going to learn quickly the rules of the internet and how people are bastards, really.
No, that's right. I think Lily would probably. I mean, Lily plays like iPad games and stuff on, with the mum's iPad and stuff, and likes the iPhone games. But I'm gonna try and pick up a second controller at some point, and some of the sort of classic games that I've got on the Xbox. The 16-bit. The Mega Drive collection, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think some of those they'll probably quite enjoy. I mean, Joseph's, son's far too young for it anyway. He'd watch it, I'd probably.
Well, you'd be surprised. How old is he? What, 3, 4?
He'd be 3, yeah. When he's
you probably do with your touch screen device. That's where.
Yeah, he does that.
Started,
so. He does that. Yeah, but no, I just thought show him some of the old games. They probably think they're rubbish because they have to use a joypad instead of a.
Yeah. Actually, that. That reminds me. Do you remember? I don't know if it was last show or the one before. We were talking about how we got the kids Christmas presents, and we bought us some tablets. Do you remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
but they both stopped working.
Oh no! I was thinking about getting one.
No, don't. So they were the 10-inch Joy tabs. They're called.
Yeah,
and neither one will charge now.
Oh no!
And I've been reading online that they're basically falling apart. They're pieces of shit. Because when you actually touch the screen to scroll, it's very unresponsive. Now, I did say if you hadn't used an iPad before, it'd probably be all right. But these guys have, so they're not very tolerable with it. So hopefully we can get them exchanged up. We're going to get them some Kindle Fire minis, HDs. Yeah. I think they're about sort of 30 quid more. Hopefully we'll have to get the exchange up. Pay a bit more, and we're going to get them those. They're more of the mini size for their hands, and they prefer those. But I think they're 150 quid for a Kindle Fire,
cool.
Which is what hopefully we can upgrade to. But those, they're like walking around like lost sheep at the moment.
Really?
3 weeks of having a gadget. The thing is, I'm not terribly. I'm a bad influence on them because I can get internet in my car. So when we go travelling, when we go out in the car, they can still be connected and go to YouTube and do all that sort of stuff. And their favourite thing that the both of them are into are listening to parody Minecraft songs on YouTube.
Oh right.
And George had it playing the other day, and on YouTube there's like a 6-hour video
of
back-to-back Minecraft songs parodying real songs. It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
And he has it on in the background while he's playing Minecraft. His own little soundtrack. But yeah, anyway, so I might have said get one, but I would say
no. Okay.
So, avoid. So
I need to get a new laptop first. That's my main thing because this one's on its last legs.
Yeah.
As I think I mentioned before.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you get anything half decent, you can start getting yourself into Steam. Then, couldn't you? You're gonna go Windows, or are you gonna go Mac?
I think I would like to go Mac, but I don't think I can afford it because to get a MacBook of a decent sized screen, it's going to be about 900 quid,
right?
Which is just no. So it'll be a big PC, I expect.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe I should show you my Steam setup.
It's not something imminent. I mean, I've got crazy busy few months coming up to get the house on the market soon, or the flat on the market, I should say.
Okay.
So I talked about that, didn't
I? No. What?
Oh, okay.
Where are you going to move to?
Lymington.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So, I'm sure I told you this. Okay.
I remember.
But anyway, no, the flat's going to be sold basically. And, not we're going to put it on the market the next month or so. There's a couple of bits that need sorting out inside before we stick it on. But no, just just need to get things sorted. But anyway, that's not for.
Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you what else I've been up to, and I think this is quite a bit of a development for the podcast, really. Something we probably want to talk about is I've created a YouTube channel for the Control Zone podcast.
Yes, you have.
Which might be worth slightly advertising here. So anybody who listens, all you need to do is go to YouTube and type in the Control Zone podcast, and I think it's the top option once you type all of that. So it's a bit of a mouthful, but type in the Control Zone podcast, and what we'll do is we'll upload the weekly episodes there as well. But we'll also do reviews. I've got the ability to do game reviews on there. Well, when I say game reviews, they're not strictly reviews because you can kind of go anywhere for a review these days. But they're my thoughts, my failings, my playthroughs. My son really wants me to do walkthroughs of games. He wants me.
Yeah. That'll take you a long time.
Yeah, he wants me to do episode 1 to 99. So I might appease him and start a walkthrough of something, see how it goes. But of course, the software that you use to make these reviews, when you actually record the initial recording, 15 minutes of video is nearly 20 gig.
I know, you were saying it's ridiculous.
But then you can compress it down to about 100 meg. It's incredible, and you only lose that ever so slightly, lose a bit of sharpness on the HD screen. So from 20 gig to 100 meg, and then upload it to YouTube. It's very, it's very useful, very easy to do. So, you use Windows Movie Maker, don't you, Rob? Or what do you?
I use iMovie.
iMovie, that's right. Yeah. So I'm using Windows Movie Maker, which is.
I've used that before when I had my.
So simple.
Yeah, it is. They're both very good. Very good.
Yeah. So I've got a couple of videos in the pipeline that I'm going to upload in the next week. So after you've listened to this, if anybody is listening, they can go to that YouTube channel and have a look at some of the games I've been talking.
We do have listeners, don't worry.
Yeah, well, I don't know how many. So I know I've got a few people have watched the video. And listen to the show, so it's all good. It's early days yet, we're only just starting out, and we'll get to a nice niche at some point.
We shall. No, did you say the link for the YouTube channel? What's the organization? It's Control Zone Pod, isn't it?
No, the Control Zone podcast.
The Control Zone podcast.
Yeah, cool. That's the link. We've been putting them on Twitter over the last week or so. So we'll just keep an eye out. We'll add some more. So, yeah, good. So that's been my week. So a lot of running around to the hospital, freaking out about just me and the kids. But hey ho, we're gamers. And then so it's all been good.
Okay. So should we talk about what we've been playing?
Yeah. Who wants to go first? Do you want to go first this week?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Go on.
I've only been playing. I've just looked at my list. I've only actually been playing 4 games this week. I'll save the 2 Xbox ones to the end because you've been playing them too, I know.
Yeah.
But a couple of the ones first of all. The first one is Gunstar Heroes, which is an old Mega Drive game, which I've been playing on Xbox Live. I've been playing on Xbox Live. I downloaded it from Xbox Live a long time ago, probably about 4 years ago now. And I was just looking through my games library and saw it was on. I was like, wow, I haven't played that for quite a long time. So I picked it up, gave it a go. It's a great game. It's you remember Contra 3 we were talking about last week?
Yeah.
It's very similar to that. So you probably wouldn't like it.
But it's left to right.
Left to right. You control a little guy.
Platform. Yeah,
8-directional shooting. Different weapons. It's more cartoony than Contra is. But yeah, it's cool. It's still really playable. It's really hard, as a lot of these games are.
Yeah.
So I still haven't completed it, which is quite embarrassing for a vintage game, really.
Yeah.
But no, give that a spin. It'll probably be something I'll do. Maybe do a spotlight at some point.
Yeah. Now the best game in that genre is a game I can't remember what it's called. Oh bloody hell! What's the? There's about 7 or 8 versions of it. And
Metal Slug.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Now, that's a game that I've quite enjoyed in the past. And I remember having a MAME simulator. Do you know what that is?
Yes, I do know what a MAME is. Yeah.
Yeah. So and the arcade versions are the best looking versions of that game, and I think there's a few of those on Xbox Live, isn't there? So
yes, yeah,
so that's a similar sort of game, isn't it, to Gunstar?
Yeah, Metal Slug is cool. I certainly haven't played the more recent ones, but yeah, there's loads of them, isn't there? There's 7 or 8 definitely. But no, so Gunstar Heroes, cool game. Worth picking up. I think it's still on Xbox Live.
How much was it? How much is it?
It was 400 Microsoft points when I bought it, I think. Let me just.
It's about 350 then, isn't it?
Yeah, let me just.
£3. Yeah.
Just check. But no, it's worth getting.
Oh yeah, they always were worth picking up. Now I do remember this. Isn't this on that collection as well that you mentioned?
Sega Mega Drive collection.
Yeah,
no, it's not.
It's not.
No,
because I see this as one of the but they rate this as one of the better games, don't they?
It is one of the best Mega Drive games without a doubt. But it's not on the Mega Drive collection.
And nor is Sonic, which is bizarre.
No, Sonic's on the Mega Drive collection game for the PlayStation and the Xbox, but it's not on that recently re-released Mega Drive.
That's right.
System.
Yeah.
I mean, Gunstar Heroes is expensive to get if you buy it on a vintage cartridge. It can be sort of £15 upwards, which is a lot for vintage game. I can't seem to see how much it cost. It was either 400 or 800 Microsoft points. I expect it was probably 400 because it's an old game. But as far as I'm aware, it's still on Xbox Live.
Okay.
Worth picking up.
Yeah,
definitely. Elsewhere, I've been playing. Downloaded a new trial game. It's a scrolling beat 'em up. You know how I like those. It's Dungeons and Dragons: Chronicles of Mystara. It's a port of an old arcade game, and I remember playing this in an arcade in France, bizarrely. It's the only time I ever saw this game. And this was the sort of probably early 90s, probably like 92 or 93, something like that.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, I was sort of really big into my Warhammer and all things sort of fantasy and swords and sorcery and all that. And this sort of
is there some guy cutting grass near you?
There is, yeah. Can you hear it?
Yeah. Can you stick your head out the window and tell him to shut up, will you?
Yeah, there's a guy cutting the lawn out the back.
Tell your gardener to go, Rob.
Yeah.
Tell him to come back tomorrow.
Be quiet, please, young man. I'm trying to record.
Chester.
Yeah.
Go on.
So I saw this in the arcade back in the day and really loved it. It's a scrolling 2-player beat 'em up where you control like a bit like Golden Axe, dwarf, barbarian, wizard, elf, etc. But the characters can level up like with a roleplay game as you progress.
Yep.
So they can get better with different weapons and things. The graphics at the time were amazing, way better than Golden Axe. But I never saw it. In the arcade again anywhere, and it was always sort of the back of my mind. I wonder what that game was, and then I discovered this was on Xbox Live. It got released last year.
Yeah.
It's basically 2 games in one. So it's The Shadows over Mystara and Tower of Doom. The Tower of Doom is the original one, which would have been the game that I would have played back in the day. But yeah, it's really great. It's really good, and I definitely will be getting the full version of it. It's $9.99. So when you get 2 games to that, it's a £5 a game. I think it's definitely one to get a multiplayer though. I think.
Oh yeah. It's a shame we can't do much of that, can we? I don't. I suppose can you do multiplayer over Xbox Live on these older titles?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if any of them, catch your fancy and you download them, like Gunstar Heroes, you could download that.
Yeah.
You can't just go on there and generally find someone because they're very rare. Yeah. Not rare, but they're not very popular games that people be on all the time, like GTA or Gears or something. There's always going to be someone lurking. Yeah. So you can sort of arrange it and go on there, but
it's a very lonely place, isn't it, when you play a game on Xbox Live and you are the only person in the world.
Yeah, playing that game. Yeah,
because that happened to me before Christmas with Sensible World of Soccer.
Okay.
On the Xbox Live Arcade, and I really fancied a game, and there was nobody online to play.
It's bizarre, isn't it? When you think, I don't know how many people play Xbox Live.
Well, I do have some information on exactly those details, but I'll save them a bit later. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So we'll hold that thought. But yeah, they're many millions.
Yeah, I can imagine. So that's that would be one for definitely for me to pick up. Probably later in a month, I think. Okay. So that's definitely worth look. And the other two games.
Yeah. Sorry. Is that game out yet, or is it just a demo? Did you say
that last Dragons? No, it came out in June last year.
Oh. Okay. Right.
So I've only downloaded the demo at the moment because I just wanted to make sure it was actually the game I remembered.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because I didn't want to download some random beat 'em up game for a tenner and it not be the one I was thinking. So yeah. Can you still hear the guy chainsawing away?
Yeah. He's playing Gears of War, isn't he?
That's right. Anyway, so the other two games were ones that we both played, which is FIFA 13 and GTA Online.
Yeah. Okay. So start with GTA because my then I can segue into FIFA into my section then. So
yeah. Okay. So we've been playing a bit more GTA Online, haven't we? Probably a couple of games this week. Yeah, still struggling a bit to initially log on and find each other.
Yeah, it is a bit awkward. I think we said, didn't we, when we were playing it, that I think if you were in a party, there should be the ability to go online to GTA Online with the party. So it looks for 2 slots or 4 slots or however many of you there are in the party that want to go on, rather than putting 4 of you in different worlds.
Yeah, I think as far as I can understand it, you can do that, go on together, but you will go into a world with no other players, so it's like a private game.
Yeah,
which isn't quite as much fun because you want to go and kill random people, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah.
But we get round it, and you get on there sort of. It's 5 or 10 minutes to find the world that we're both in. But yeah, still really enjoying it. It's nowhere near as good when you're just on there on your own. And,
no, totally agree.
Because I played it last night for about an hour or so. Or was it the night before? I can't remember. But for about an hour or so, just on my own, going around, doing a couple of missions. It's just not. I kind of think, I could just be playing the main game where the missions are much better, and it's much. I prefer the main game for a single player than going online because. Unless you're with mates, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, from my own personal point of view of GTA Online, I enjoyed the week that we had, really hammering it.
Yeah,
and it's kind of going off the boil a bit for me because I'm kind of lost to the point of it. What do you have to do? When is a I understand you gain money to buy, but everything is so frigging expensive, isn't it? I mean, you want to buy, I've only got about $30,000.
Yeah, that's about the same as me.
And if you want to buy like a garage, it's like 100,000, 200,000. And I'm every time. Well, at least the garages I come across. And it seems a little bit of kind of losing the will a little bit, because there's a lot of other stuff to play as well. I mean, it is great. I mean, but I think if you're on your own, I lose the will of what have I got to do. But I think when
Yeah.
you're with, I think it could be. I know we've enjoyed our time together online, but I think we could start adding a few more people into the mix. I think that might make it even more fun. We're playing with randoms who we can't hear.
Yeah.
So it's just me and you, isn't it? So.
Yeah, I mean, I did have a funny experience the other day. You still there?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. I did have a funny experience the other day where this guy was trying to kill me, and I was right at the top of the map, and I basically had the cops after me. I think I shot someone or whatever, and the cops were chasing me, and this random guy was chasing me too, like along with the cops trying to kill me. And I was just like, no, I'm not going to stand and fight. I'm going to run and just annoy him. So I stole a cop car and put the sirens on and bled all the way back to the city with this guy following me, trying to catch me. And whenever I sort of got ahead of him, because I was in a cop car and it was a faster car and cars were getting out of the way and everything, I'd sort of park up and wait till he came along and then burn off again. So, I mean, that was quite good fun. Okay. And eventually I drove it into the river and dived underwater and he couldn't find me.
Yeah. No, we did one mission, didn't we, where there was me and you against this other guy, and and the first round that we played, that me and you were in these sports cars and he was in a jet, wasn't he, with rockets?
Yes.
And we had to get the cars somewhere, and he had to blow us up before we made it, and quite clearly he's better than us, and he did it. And then we played again, and we were in the jets, and he was in the car, wasn't he? Well, at least we thought he was in the car until he came up our asses in another jet and blew us up. I don't know how he did that. Maybe he was hacking it or something, or he just knew that.
I think he probably just, instead of getting in the car, just turned around and ran back to the airport and got in a jet.
Yeah, maybe. These idiots. Because, of course, you and I, we took off at exactly the same time, didn't we, in these jets?
Yeah.
Flying almost parallel.
Yeah.
And nearly killed each other.
Yeah, no, the missions are cool, but there doesn't seem to be much variety in them.
No,
there's to be death matches or races, or go and get something for the other person and then bring it back. To somewhere. But it's good fun when you're online with a mate. But it's definitely not. It's not like Gears where you can go on one player, meet up with a load of random people, and just play the game.
Yeah.
I know some people will disagree with that. I'm sure there's people out there that think, "What are you talking about? You're idiots. It's brilliant." But I don't think. I can't imagine me playing this in a year's time, solo player online. I just don't think I can do that.
I think there is a very key word for if you're on your own. It's called play the bloody single player story, isn't it?
Well, exactly, and
which neither of us have finished.
I haven't yet. No, I'm
so
I'm 60% complete now.
Oh, well done.
And it's brilliant. It's really, really good. You got to give it some more time if you can, because some of the missions just are absolutely insane.
Yeah.
There's one mission where you all are wearing like bomb suits, like from the Hurt Locker, those kind of bomb suits, with miniguns.
Fantastic.
And you raid a bank and then have to stomp your way out of this town with like more cops than you've ever seen, but they can't really do much to you.
Right.
Because you're wearing these bomb suits and you're just minigunning everyone. Then you get in a bulldozer and then drive out. It is
brilliant.
It's really good. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, I might finish it. I don't think I'll get 100%, but
Well, there's probably going to be some DLC for that because they usually back it up with some pretty robust, almost standalone games, don't they?
Yeah, but I do want to, finish it because there's a lot of other games that I want to play that haven't. I bought Red Dead Redemption about 6 weeks ago, and I think I've only put about 3 hours into it. And that's just as good a game.
It is, yes,
But anyway, so FIFA 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you sent me a text, didn't you, saying that we want to do some online football. FIFA 13 is only a £5 in game.
Yep.
Other video game stores are available.
Well, are they?
Oh, that's true. Look what they are they now?
No, they're all going out of existence.
Blockbuster's gone.
Yep.
See, there's always CEX, isn't there?
Tesco's.
Tesco. Well, not if you want trade-in stuff. But
Sainsbury's. Yeah, true.
eBay. But anyway, yeah, FIFA 13 is only a fiver.
Yeah, good
in
deal.
there, and I've not played the 14, but you said 13 is better. It's just obviously got last season's kits. Well, who cares really? So yeah, picked up that, and we had a bit of a
What do you think then? Based on the fact you haven't played it for many years, and
the last version I had, I think, was FIFA 10. Yeah, graphically it's better. It plays a little bit more realistically, I suppose. The way that you can control the ball. It's not as arcadey as FIFA used to be, where every game would be like 7-8 or something.
Well, I mean, I'm finding Pro Evo's more arcadey than FIFA these days. I know PES can be a challenge as well, depending on what level you play it on. But I remember when I was out in Russia, I was having like some bloody ridiculous score games, like 4-3 and 5-4 and stupid shit like that. And then I play FIFA and it's 1-0, 2-1, 0-0.
Yeah.
Well,
so I gave up on. I converted from FIFA. From PES to FIFA probably about 2007 or 8 because I always preferred Pro Evo back in the early days, because FIFA was more arcadey, and I just didn't like the control system. But as they became more sort of closer together in gameplay, went for FIFA because it had all the licensed teams and kits and stuff, and when the gameplay there wasn't much difference. You were always going to go with that, weren't you? But now it plays better, I think.
Well, it does, and that we played some online, didn't we? We had a couple.
We did, which was good, but it was surprisingly laggy in places.
It was, which was a bit, like maybe they, it could have been our connection, it could have been EA servers, who knows? Because, I had some. Maybe the kids were on the internet as well here, so that could have contributed. But maybe not. Maybe it is just terrible. Now I played PC online as well. I got FIFA 13 on the PC, and I had a game of that online.
Yeah.
Now when we played online, I gave you a couple of hidings, didn't I?
You did. We played 3, and you won 2, and I won 1. I think.
Yeah. So in the second 2, I was kind of. I think I was some team from Saudi Arabia, and you.
Yeah.
And who were you? Were you Saints?
I think I was Saints. Yeah.
Or, yeah.
We did one as Roma versus, who were you?
Seville, I think.
Seville. That was the first one. I won that one 2-1.
That's right.
And then we did a random one where you were someone from Poland.
That's right. Yeah. Ratsworth.
Yeah. I don't know who I was. I can't remember. And then. But it was some random obscure team. And the last team, you were a Saudi team, and I was Saints. That's right. And you won. Did you won 5-1 or something like that?
5-1. Yeah, I was Al Hilal from Saudi Arabia. Now I picked places where I visited. You see, so Al Hilal from Riyadh in Saudi, and I saw them in the Crown Prince Cup final at the King Fahd Stadium. It was a cup semi-final. Cost me £4 for a ticket, and Ratsworth, or as we say it in the UK, is Rowclaw. They were a team from Poland, and they have one of the big stadiums in the Euros that was held there a couple of years ago. I drove past it when I was out there. So so that's why I chose those teams. But yeah, now I consider myself okay. Now when I played PC online, there's a lot of players still playing the PC version. I don't know about the Xbox. And I was 8-0 down at half time on my experience, and I kind of quit because I thought there's no fun in what was going on. It was absolutely, we had no lag. It was very smooth, and I was getting my ass kicked. I absolutely was losing. I don't know why. Some people are just horrendously better than me. Maybe I thought I played a pretty good game, but really? I think FIFA has a bit of a flaw because you can kind of play the same move over and over again.
Yeah,
and your defenses kind of glitch out, and the attacker runs on and scores, and that's all he tended to be doing. So So I thought, oh, fuck you, and left. So yeah, so are we going to go back to this at some point? Do you think?
FIFA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I recommend you get yourself stuck into career mode if you get a chance, because it is very good.
Yes. No, I did want a football game because the game just pick up and play, And then,
Yeah. No,
no, I have played a few games since then on single player.
yeah, no. Get yourself stuck into career mode, because it's very deep and involving, and all the in between matches stuff is very good, because you get almost like Football Manager, Championship Manager style kind of news reports about what's going on elsewhere and about your team, and about upcoming fixtures that you've just played, and reviews. It's very good, and you have these full injuries as well.
Yeah.
You there are times in FIFA 13 where you're like, they threw on goal, and the referee pulls the game back, and you're like, hang on, I'm through on goal. And what is the problem? Right down the other end of the pitch, one of my defenders is on his back holding his ankle, or something like that. It's been down for too long, so the referee stops the game. And you get players who get broken legs, twisted knees, bruised arm. It's real injuries, and they can be out for months. And it really does make your strategy of making substitutions, resting players, very, very important. So
that's cool.
it's
I will.
very good.
Yeah, it's a fiver well spent at the end of the day.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I've actually on the PC, my version is I've got it modded.
Yeah.
Like PES, so it's got anything that isn't official in FIFA, which isn't much. Trust me, has been because I think they don't have Champions League license and things like that.
Okay.
But my FIFA does, and the other advantage of my version of FIFA 13 on the PC is that it's been made into FIFA 14, so it's got all the transfers, all the updated kits, and just all the league changes, like Hull and that are now in the Premier League, not in the Championship. So so somebody's gone through and they've really tidied up the database, and it's just brings a little bit more reality, and almost negates me having to get FIFA 14, because my FIFA 13 has been switched into FIFA 14, which is what they should do, really. It's just apply a patch to it.
Yeah, they should. Maybe it costs you a tenner or something, or just to update everything. That would be a good idea of doing it.
Yeah, definitely. Because the gameplay hasn't changed very much between 13 and 14.
No.
So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. What else have you been playing then?
Okay. Yeah. So apart from GTA Online and FIFA 13, which has taken up the majority of my time, because I haven't had a lot of time.
No, of course not.
Hospital visits.
Indeed. Yeah.
So now I played a game that came out of the blue. It came as part of a Humble Bundle that I picked up. Now, did I pick it up this week? I think I did, and I think it's still on sale on the PC. Yeah, it is. So there's a couple of games that I picked up in the bundle. Now, I paid $5.50 or something for how many games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's that? £3, £3.50 for 9 games.
Yeah.
All Steam games.
Oh, 2 seconds, buddy.
Yeah, all right,
yeah. Doors go.
Oh, I see. Oh.
I'll be back in a sec.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. So Humble Bundle. So I picked up 9 games, about £3.50, and amongst these games was a game called Surgeon Simulator 2013.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'll do for you while I'm talking about this is I'll put the link into Skype, so you can have a little look at what I'm rattling on about. Now, this game, I had no idea what it was, but the sort of avatar for the game was a guy sort of on the surgery table with a green cloth over him, and his chest exposed. right? So I opened it up and I turned the game on and had a look, and it's basically a surgical simulation game where you have to perform various surgical operations, procedures like heart transplant, brain
Yeah.
transplant. You have to replace kidneys, and you use your keyboard and mouse to control. And I tried it with a controller, but it was actually better with the keyboard and mouse because 5 of the keys, I think it was A, W, E, R, and another one, A, W, E, R, and it might have been the space bar, controlled the thumb. So they controlled 5 digits of your left hand, and the mouse moved the arm, and you could hold down the left trigger to rotate left and the right button to rotate right. So basically, the game consists of moving your hand and arm and grabbing things by pressing the buttons. And I'll do a video on this. I'll do a hilarious video.
Yeah.
So you have to pick up instruments from the table either side of the patient, and and the first thing you have to do, absolutely brutal, is you kind of almost pick up a hammer and you have to break the ribs in order to get to the heart and the lungs and things like that. And then you have to rip out the heart, for example, throw it away. You just sling it, okay. And then to the side it will be a box where there is a replacement heart. And the idea of the game is to merely pick up the piece and just drop it into his chest. So, and and then the level ends. It goes, sew him up, he'll be all right, kind of thing. And it's such fun, such fun. It's crazy because your hand, you can't really control it very well. So as you're trying to to replace this patient's organs, you're just smashing away at other bits of his body, and you can move his head around with your arm, and it's hilarious. So it consists of many levels, and I think the first level's in the operating theatre, so you have to do 3 or 4 different procedures. Actually, I think one of the levels in the early levels is where you have to do a brain transplant, and the guy is sat in a chair with his head in a vice, and the top of his head is exposed, and you have to crack his skull open, almost like an egg, in order to expose the brain. And you can do it in whatever way you want. You can either use the hammer, or you can use a saw to cut, and the head starts falling apart. And of course, the idea of the game is to have as little blood loss as possible. Otherwise, the patient dies, and then you have to restart the level. And it's very funny. Now,
is it really really gory?
yeah, it is. It can be. Yeah. Because of course, if you start puncturing things, blood starts spurting everywhere, and you can to the side of the table there's an injection that you can give the patient that will stop the blood flow. But the problem is, because your hand is so clumsy, you may inject yourself. And then what happens is the screen becomes all green and kind of fuzzy, and you've got to continue this procedure whilst basically high on drugs. And it's so funny. You cannot play this game without laughing out loud. The later level that I haven't made it onto yet, but I have seen, is where you're in the back of an ambulance,
right?
And you've got to do all the procedures. But of course, the ambulance is driving at 100 miles an hour, and things are flying around everywhere. One of the funniest things is that you're wearing this 80s digital watch, calculator watch, and every now and again it falls off into
the person.
Yeah, you have to kind of retrieve it out, or you can leave it in there, and you lose points if you leave it in there and stuff like that. So a very, very funny game. Now I picked this up as part of a massive bundle. A game that cost me, I don't know, could have been 50p, I think, at the end of the day, is proving a very big hit for me.
Yeah, I will be interested to see you do a review of that on YouTube.
I'm going to put up a little playthrough and try and go through a few levels.
Yeah.
And give you a little example of what it's like.
Awesome.
And my experience. So I think it's more of an indie game. I don't know if you get this on the arcade. It's definitely a PC game.
Yeah, it's not. I just had a look at it. It's not not on Xbox Live or anything. Just on Steam.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't think it would make it onto
no.
a game like that. But yeah, very funny. Great fun. That was.
Awesome. Anything else at all?
Yep, a couple of things. Let's
Yeah.
the other game that I've picked up. This was a quid, and I picked up Pool Nation, which is a pool game. You know, not snooker, but pool.
Pool, yeah.
And just a standard sort of. It's quite good because it's you play with other Steam users online as well. So I haven't really played it a massive amount because I did get this on the Xbox about a year ago, and it was it's quite good. You know, it's very realistic. It's probably the best pool game I've played for many years. The snooker games aren't really doing the rounds at the moment, are they? I remember there was quite a few of them out a few years ago on the PlayStation 2.
It's never been a sort of game that I ever liked really. I never played snooker. Anyway, I used to play pool a little bit, but not as a game.
Yeah, this popped up as a deal of the day. It was only like £1.19 or something, and I had some pennies in my Steam account, so I grabbed it, and it's okay. It's okay. So my last game that I've been playing, and it was a game that I kind of like looked at, and I thought that has no appeal to me whatsoever. So I've left it in for a while now, and picked it up a Christmas part of the Steam deal. It's a game called Bit Trip Presents Runner 2. Okay, a bit of a mouthful.
Right.
But what it is the only way I can describe this is it's kind of like a rhythm action game where you're a character on a left to right scrolling platform, so a little bit like your Gunstar Heroes.
Yeah.
The idea is to collect pieces of gold in time with the music.
Okay.
So the techno music kind of builds and creates as you're running through the level.
Yeah.
And you've got to jump to pick pieces of gold or duck. You've got to avoid all the obstacles, but you are running at quite a consistent rate from left to right. I'll send you the link in Skype so you can have a little look yourself.
Yeah, sure.
But I had a lot of fun with this. It's actually a very, very deep game. If you collect every piece of gold on the level, you get to at the end of each level. You get thrown into a cannon where you got to shoot yourself towards a bullseye,
right?
Which is quite bizarre. It's very you kind of wonder what these people were smoking when they were creating these games. Quite a few levels. I think there's 5 worlds to discover, ultimately, and I've nearly done. We've kind of completed World 1, but we're stuck on it. Can't find the key to escape from the final level on this to get through it. Really, so you kind of start as this little character. I think he's like a black piece of. I don't know what he is. It's like a blob, a black blob with legs. Okay,
Okay.
very well drawn, very well realized graphics. On the main game, but throughout the levels, there are these. I don't know if they're like retro cassettes. If you land on one of them, you get whisked off to like a 1981 version of the game, where you got to play through the level as sort of Spectrum graphics, and then you get whisked back to the real game. So there are about 25 of those throughout the world to discover. Cool. So yeah, the music is absolutely incredible. The gameplay is very, very addictive. Now, I played it to the point where it was actually starting to give me a headache.
Right.
Because your eyes are so moving around the screen so much because your little guy's running very fast left to right. And you've got to watch what's coming up. Okay, you see a series of objects coming up. You go, okay, I've got to go duck, jump, block, kick, duck, jump, block, kick. Do you know what I mean? You're thinking like that throughout the whole level, and the music's going, in your mind, and you're like. Eventually, it starts to give an old man like me a bit of a headache. But absolutely cracking game. Now there are some other versions. I think this is just simply called Runner 2. I think that would be the simple version of the game, but to describe the game. But I think there are Bit Trip Runner 1, and there are other versions.
I can see it's on Xbox Live.
Yeah, I think. Now, don't get me wrong. I think there's a demo of this on Xbox Live, and. Because George come along, he goes, "Oh, I've seen this."
Yeah.
So he must have played it on the demo or something. So he's obviously had a little go at it.
Have you seen there's a DLC for it where you can download other characters, including the guy from Splunky and the baddie from Super Meat Boy, which is quite cool.
Do you know what? I was playing part of the opening scene. There was the Super Meat Boy who was in it. I was like,
yeah.
What's he? I kind of passed it off as like, oh, maybe it's the same development house. But yeah, that kind of makes sense if there's DLC for it. Yeah, no, it's a very good game. Check it out. If it's on Xbox, it's well worth a little download and a little play.
Yeah.
And I picked this up for absolutely nothing, so I was very pleased with it.
I'm sure it's not too expensive on Xbox, but yeah, one to have a
look at. Cool. So Runner 2, I don't know who develops it, but don't care really. But yeah, I see down. So yeah, what I'll do, I'll try and knock up a video of that as well. Over the next week. So
it's by gauging games.
Gauging games. Fair enough. Yeah. So there we go. So that's pretty much what I've been playing.
Okie dokie. No, that's cool. We still played a few games this week, so it's all good. Okie doke. What we'll do now, we will take a break, a short interlude. So you know the drill. Grab yourself a brew. And we'll be back. This week's music. Is where have I put it? Hold on 1 second. This week's music is a chiptune. I suppose it's a cover, but it samples some of the music from Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo. Do you remember in the old Super Mario game on the SNES that there was like boss castles, wasn't there? Where all the Koopas would be. So it uses that music, which is pretty cool. And the track's called Monstrous Turtles, and the original composer of the music from Super Mario World is the legendary composer Koji Kondo, and the remix is by an artist called Zircon, Zircon, and it's available on the OC Remix website. Loads of cool stuff there. It's basically a website that does remixes of old video game music with like a modern feel to it. Another one I sort of listened to was some of the Street Fighter 2 music, which had been played on like a metal guitar. Oh, yeah. It sounded very, very cool. So anyway, this is the track, Monstrous Turtles. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll be back in 4 or 5 minutes.
Cool.
Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that tune. It's pretty awesome. Steve selected that one, and he's got loads of similar sort of style tunes that he's suggested we could use for future ones. So it's quite cool. He's actually done a chip tune remix of one of his own songs as well. So
excellent.
We'll have to put that on. It does sound very cool, actually.
Yeah, actually, something I was going to ask you. Who does the title music? What's from our podcast?
That is. Do you remember Steve and I were in a band together called Kynin?
Yes.
Which I don't know when we stopped doing that. Probably about 2008, 2009. Yeah. That was a track that Steve wrote for that, which we never actually recorded vocals for, so we never did live or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically Steve did it. So.
Okay. Yeah, no, I quite like it. It's quite good.
Yeah.
Just wonder where it come from, and what about your music that you've got on your YouTube channel?
My YouTube channel, yeah, the little guitar riff.
Yeah, that's quite cool. Yeah.
That is the start to a Mofo song. Mofo being the band I was in prior to Kynin. So
you better not be too big, otherwise you'll have to start paying them royalties or something, won't you?
Oh no, the band have disbanded a long time ago. But yeah,
that's all right.
It's all fun. So yeah, we'll crack on with some news. I've got a few news stories this week. So if I go first,
yes, by all means.
With the old retro news. First up is there's a Kickstarter campaign to make a documentary about Tetris on the Game Boy, which I thought was quite interesting. It's basically a couple who've recently picked up a vintage Game Boy with the 89 puzzle. It spurred them on to create a documentary about their quest to find the greatest Tetris player in the country.
Is it UK or America?
UK.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Spurred on by the documentary King Kong, or King of Kong rather, A Fistful of Quarters.
Yeah, that's great documentary. Yeah, I love that.
So I haven't seen that the King Kong one yet.
Oh, you haven't?
The Kong one yet? Yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but I must do. But yeah, this is a Liverpool-based gamer called Helen Stevens. Yeah, Alan, it's a great idea.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Yeah.
So yeah, basically they're looking on a Kickstarter. They need 30 grand apparently to cover the cost, with the aim of producing the movie and getting it out on DVD. So I don't think I'll put any money into it, but if it does come out, I'd be interested in watching it.
Yeah, I'm wondering what constitutes the greatest Tetris player. How do you prove that you're a good Tetris player to them?
Well, apparently her partner laid a claim to racking over 200 lines during standard play, which is supposedly worthy of 4th place on the all-time leaderboard of Tetris on Twin Galaxies.
Okay.
So it's basically how many lines you can get.
Yes, Twin Galaxies.
I remember when I don't think I ever finished Tetris, but when you got past 99 lines, it kind of went. Did a crazy little noise, and sort of fireworks appeared, and then you started again.
Okay.
But I don't know. I do love Tetris. It's a classic game. I haven't played it for years.
No. I think I played it recently. What was it on? Might have been the iPad. I think they had a new Tetris. I think they put a nice retro. Well, they had a new spin on it. Actually, I think Tetris Splash or something like that was called. So there's so many versions, isn't there, down the years?
Yeah.
Pimped like Sonic.
It has indeed.
Did you read about the original designer of the game? Didn't actually get any money from it until like recently, did he?
Yes, I heard that because it wasn't. He was contracted by the Russian government or something to make the game, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
So the Russian government took all the royalties.
Madness.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's I thought a cool little story. When it comes out, I'd definitely be interested in seeing it. I'm sure it'll hit that. 30 grand. to make it, because people have a lot of love for these old games, and whenever someone comes up with an idea like this, it usually gets quite a lot of support. So.
Yeah, no, it's very good. Yeah, no, I'll be interested in watching that. I love that sort of thing.
Yeah, cool. Next up is Final Fantasy VI, which is classic SNES RPG, which I think I've mentioned before. I think it's from the early 90s. That's coming out on Android for your mobile. So whereas Secret of Mana has been out for a little while on iOS and Android, Final Fantasy VI is coming out too.
Wow, yeah. Oh,
so, yeah, I don't know if it's out on iOS.
Yeah, there are a few. I don't know. There's so many. I don't know which numbers are and which numbers aren't, but there are a few. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I haven't. This is quite a statement, but I've never played it because although I love my old RPGs, I always preferred the ones which were kind of more sort of action based, where you press the button to make to attack and things like that, rather than the turn based ones. So I loved Mana, I loved Zelda, and Final Fantasy just didn't ever appeal to me. It's going to be $10.99, which is quite a lot. for an Android game. You buy it on the SNES as a cartridge, it's going to cost you £50 probably, but still, that's a lot for a mobile device, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think mobile gaming is, it is the. I think it's catching up, and I also suppose with the Android devices. Now, I did do a test on the kids ones when they worked. You can actually use the PlayStation 3 controller on an Android tablet. So you technically could. It becomes a small TV screen. So you kind of gain the game in its portable position, and you don't have to deal with the stupid controls of the on-screen stuff because you can use a pad with it.
Yeah.
But I don't think iOS allows that. But I know Android does. So if there's anyone out there who's looking forward to playing this with a pad on the move, it's certainly maybe a tenner is not that too much of too much.
No, it's a classic game. If it came out on iOS, I might consider it, but I just don't think it's too complicated a game to really be playing on a phone. In my opinion, I think with Secret of Mana, where it's action based, you can kind of just about cope with the crappy control system. But something like this, where you can have loads of sort of menus and stats and cycling between characters in the turn based play, I don't think it'll port very well. But I maybe wrong. It's having a slight remastering as well. They're changing some of the graphics to make them a bit more modern. So instead of sort of the old style pixelated visuals, it's more of a modern vector look. So that surprises me, to be honest, because most people, when you want to play a vintage game, you just want to play it as it was back in the day. You don't really want it to have a little bit of a facelift.
Yeah, that's right.
If you wanted to play a modern style game, you would play a different game. But anyway,
I know what you mean.
yeah. Anyway, so that's that. Another one. A bit of a bizarre story, but do you remember me saying last week about the X-Men arcade game on Xbox Live, and how I downloaded Marvel vs. Capcom and thought about getting the X-Men one?
Yep.
Well, I went back on there just to have a little look, and I downloaded the demo and played it and thought, yeah, this is cool, this is worth picking up. The actual full game has disappeared from Xbox Live and PlayStation Network.
Oh, right.
Along with every other X-Men title with the X-Men license, and the Simpsons game, arcade game as well, which is another game I was planning to get at some point.
What's the license run out?
The license has run out, and this is the first time I've sort of seen this, that a game that was put on Xbox Live has been removed.
Yeah, no, it has.
It does happen. Yeah, they were all on sale prior to Christmas, and I picked up Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but didn't get the others, and clearly that's why they were on sale, was that they were going to be going. But it's weird, isn't it? Frustrating, because never going to be able to get those games again unless you play them on a ROM.
Well, that's right. I think it's happened a few times with. There's a game called What was it called? Marble. It was the Marble game on Xbox Live. I don't know if it was Ultra Marble Blast or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just a really good physics ball rolling marble game that for years that my son that was probably his first real addicted game that he used to play. He was got really good at it as well. And then when he got his own Xbox, I went to download it on my profile onto his Xbox, and I couldn't find it on the store because it had gone. And then I looked up, and the same thing happened there. But I managed to get it because it's in your download history. So you can re-download things that have been removed from the store if you've already got them at some point in the past. But if you've only got the demo in the past, you can't buy it anymore. So you are a little bit stuck. But yeah, you can't. You're stuffed if you want to buy it now. But
yeah, it's a shame. I mean, neither of them are outstanding games, but I should have picked them up in the sale when they were a couple of quid each. But never mind. I just thought it was worthy of mention. If anyone was ever thinking of getting those games, you can't.
No, the sale. I do remember hearing about a sale on a lot of the X-Men stuff before Christmas, but like you, didn't realise it was going to be disappearing. So
yeah,
wow.
There we go. The next game, right. This is a bit of a bizarre one. Okay, an unlicensed Bible-themed game, Super Nintendo first-person shooter called Super 3D Noah's Ark.
Right, I want to play that now.
It's being re-released on cartridge for the SNES. Okay, this is not a new game. Yeah, this is a game that was originally released in 1994 and was only sold in Christian bookstores. Okay, it's a bizarre first-person shooter that puts you in control of Noah, who is tasked in calming down the animals of the Ark
with a gun,
with sleep-inducing food. It bears a striking resemblance to Wolfenstein 3D.
So it's a mod, basically.
And it was an unlicensed release, so it never got mainstream release, and it was put in for a plug-through cartridge. So you basically, remember we talked about the adapters last week, where you plugged it into the machine, and an official release would go on the back, and the other release would go on the top. This would be the same. So an official game had to be plugged into the top, allowing this game by Wisdom Tree Games to bypass any licensing issues. So basically, it was an early garage game, and it's now been re-released in cartridge format for the SNES. So yeah, how bizarre.
I don't think I'll be playing that in any near future. Mainly because I don't have a. Well, I do have a SNES. Oh damn! I do have a SNES. Maybe I could play it.
And how much would you pay for such a game? Do you think?
I'd want them to pay me. I think. To be honest, I'll review it for them. Tell them to send it to me.
It's cost you $40. And if you want
$40
the cartridge, and if you want to have a box and a manual, that's going to cost you an extra $25.
Are they serious?
No, $65 if you want it boxed with a manual. So
that's about £40. That's the price. That's the price of. Oh Jesus Christ! No, excuse me, but that's the price of Battlefield 4 on the Xbox One, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. $65 will buy you any brand new Xbox One or PlayStation 4 game.
Yeah.
So it's a collector's item. It's obviously going to be rather unique, shall we say?
Religion sales, as they say, doesn't it? So
religion them up. So I've never heard of this game.
No, nor have I.
I didn't realise that such a genre of game existed.
Yeah, well, I expect that there is a whole world out there other than our little tiny part of it. So yeah.
So I just thought that was rather interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting. Yeah.
There's a few screenshots of it on the well, there's a brief sort of video of it on the link in the show notes. I don't know if you've seen it, but yeah, it just looks very much like Wolfenstein 3D with the blocky 3D graphics.
Brilliant.
Oh wow, brilliant! So yeah, that's been re-released. Should anyone have been hunting for the original the last
you don't need to,
20 years.
Yeah.
Last up, it's another SNES cartridge release, which is a version of the classic Kong game, the original Kong game with Mario's first appearance. It's a homebrew game. Yep. Obviously, it's not an original release, but it's now in cartridge format, which is cool if you've got a vintage machine and you want to play it on an old school machine. And that's a little bit more reasonable. It's 30 quid. $30.
Yeah. Oh, that's not bad.
But it's limited to 100 copies, which is quite cool. Again, if you want a box and the manual, it's going to cost you extra.
God's sake.
Taking the total cost to $55.
You're kidding me. Really?
No, not kidding you. $55 if you want it boxed with a manual.
Gee.
$30.
Oh, God.
But it's updated version of the Kong game. It's by Bubble Zap Games.
Yeah. Wow.
It does look cool. I wouldn't
good luck to them. I'm sure they'll sell a few.
Yeah, well, yeah.
A couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. They must have kickstarted that to get that to that point, maybe.
Yeah, I suspect they probably have. Yeah, it's got slightly enhanced visuals and audio to the original. Looking at a couple of screenshots now. Okay. Does look cool. I wouldn't pay $30 for it. But fair play to them, and it's always nice to see new cartridge releases for the vintage systems. So.
And who developed that?
That's by Bubble Zap.
Bubble Zap. So Bubble Zap, if you're listening, Rob is up for reviewing your game. Send it care of Predaking 79
by YouTube.
The Moon.
Yeah, So that's my retro stories for the week. So yeah, a few new releases, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, good. I've got a couple of bits, so not overly exciting, but remember earlier when I mentioned about we were talking about how many people use Xbox Live. Well, the piece of news came out this week about from Steam announcing that they have just over 75 million active users on the Steam platform, which is phenomenal. I didn't realise it was that big. I really did not realise it was that big, and it might be one of the good reasons why they can make things bloody cheap. You know, you've been all you hear about from me is there's a sale on. I've picked this up for £1, that for £3. Like this AAA game for $3.99. And it's 25 quid for Xbox and PlayStation. So 75 million. Now that got me thinking. Well, what's Xbox and what's PlayStation Network? So I thought I'd give you a little challenge here, Rob. You're gonna see if you can guess how many Xbox Live users there are, based on 75 million on Steam.
Yeah.
How many do you think there are on Xbox? Now this is based on just before Christmas. So I think it was about October last year. So
I would say 200 million
on
Xbox.
Okay.
Live.
So no. That's too high.
Too high. Okay.
Yeah. So
100.
Nope. Too high.
75.
Nope. Too high.
Wow. Okay. At 50.
Correct.
Yeah.
50 million on Xbox Live.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought Steam had more than them.
Exactly, which raised my eyebrows. And then I thought, well, how many's PlayStation got? I won't put you out. I'll put you out your misery. PlayStation has 110 million active users, probably because the service is free.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show, doesn't it? It's double what Xbox is.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, really. I don't know where they're getting these figures from. I suppose you think PlayStation Network has the handheld option also.
It does. So Xbox Live are trying to tempt people back with the free games, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
But they're not particularly.
Yeah. Well, this month on PlayStation Network, I'm getting BioShock Infinite and a game called Outlast, and I think Metro Last Light as well. I think they're the games ported to come to the February PlayStation Plus. What are we getting for Xbox? We've just had Guardian of Light.
Yeah, which is a 4-year-old game.
Which I played, I had about 4 years ago, and it costs a bugger all. It doesn't cost anything. It's only a tenner anyway, or £5 anyway. Whereas PlayStation give you AAA games.
Yeah, that's amazing if you get Bioshock in.
Yeah,
that'd still a £20 game, that isn't it?
Yes. So I have it on the PC, so you can actually spec it out. But I really wouldn't mind playing it on console because PC's good, but there are some. I have to run it sometimes at a slightly lesser rate in order to make it smooth. So I wouldn't mind seeing what it looks like fully fledged out. But yeah, I was quite interested in those figures. Really, I mean, it certainly gives Steam a sort of middle of the road point there. Halfway between the two almost.
I'm surprised. That's a lot less than I thought.
Yeah, I think they've grown by about 15 million Steam since October last year. So
they can continue to grow, won't they, with the Steam box?
Indeed. Yeah, and I think the fact that Sony and PlayStation, Microsoft and Sony have just had basically saying you buy these downloadable content for a 360 or a PlayStation 3, your content will die with that machine. Whereas on Steam, your content lives forever. Almost because there are games available on Steam that were around before the last generation was out, and it's still available. So I think that's kind of like the comfort blanket for a lot of Steam users. The fact that they know that it runs on a PC operating system, so there will always be one, and it will always run on it. Whereas
that's right.
Whereas Xbox and PlayStation are limiting themselves. Although the news we talked about last week for PlayStation might negate that.
Yeah, with the streaming, yeah.
Yeah, but as long as everything's available, I don't want fucking half-ass. I want to play shit old titles.
Exactly.
On the PlayStation from PlayStation 1 to, I want to play the original Destruction Derby.
Yeah.
And I want to just go, click, it works. Click, I can play something else immediately. I want it to be like Netflix. I don't want it to be sort of a bunch of selected titles. Like, because you'd probably never seen this on the PlayStation Network. They have some, they kind of like you can download and buy old games. And I thought, great, but it's selected old games. I very much used to like the old Winning 11s, J-League Winning 11 on the PlayStation, but of course they weren't available in Europe.
No.
So you had to import them. And if I could play that as part of the subscription, the region lock stuff that was on the PlayStation, that will be a big game changer for me. But I digress.
What do you think? Just sort of going off on a sort of tangent a little bit, but the Xbox 360, what do you think its lifespan is? How long do you think it's got left?
I think about another 2 years. I think it's because of the the entry level for an Xbox One is too expensive, and there's nothing going to be available for it for about the first 3 or 4 months this year. They had the launch titles, great. They had nothing new. And this year there's going to be really expensive. So,
when did the original Xbox sort of cease being supported? I'm trying to think.
It wasn't too far. It was about a year after the Xbox 360 came out.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Because I remember the PS2 overlapped a lot, didn't it, with PS?
Yeah. I don't think it was very long. They quickly kicked it into touch, but I don't think they will do that for the 360 because it really expanded quickly, didn't it?
It did, and online gaming was nothing like as big as it is now when the original Xbox was around. So no, I just wonder, it'd be a shame for them to rush it into extinction.
No, I think there's a good couple of years still left of the 360.
A lot of gamers like me who are still enjoying playing the 360 games and don't really have much interest in Xbox One.
But I mean, the developers will also look at the amount of sales that the two machines have been selling, making, and they'll think to themselves, okay, we need to get the next version of whatever out, and what should we do it on? Okay, there's 3 million, 10 million people have got, Xbox Ones, and 50 million people have got Xbox 360s. Do you know what I mean? So they'll probably still until that slightly balances off or hits in the favour of the Xbox One, it'll still be there. We'll start seeing it drop into touch once you and I get one.
Yes.
In about 2 years' time. But,
I'm still a little bit undecided about which to go for, but probably the PS4. But I don't think it'll be this 2014 that I get one. I think it'll be next year.
Yeah.
I consider. But I've said many times there's so many games that I still haven't, classic games on the 360 that I've not played yet. So. But anyway, we're going off on a tangent.
We are. Yeah, my final bit of... well, I don't know if this is news, but it's just an observation I made this week. We've been talking a lot about, vintage games and playing, having the consoles. Well, there are a lot of browser sites available to play classic console games in. I'll send you a link. Here's one that I found the other day, and I think you could find many, many more if you go looking for them. This one's called GameOldies.com.
Yeah.
Okay, so you hit on the link, and this basically is a browser-based... I don't know how they do it. It's a streaming website that allows you to play classic SNES.
That's cool. That's really cool.
So if you go to the Play Games link at the top, you've got NES, SNES, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Master System, Game Gear, Genesis, Sega 32, Sega. Now, I've actually had a little play of these, and they play really well, and they load really quickly. And it's very hard, and there are a ton of games for every platform there.
Wow. There is loads here. This is awesome.
Exactly. So now this is one of many websites, but I think this one's the best because there are many dedicated SNES or dedicated Genesis. This is the best one I've found so far that brings everything together. The ability to play it online. Again, if you've got a pad, you can set up the pad so it's the same as the keys, and away you go. You can play it in full screen, so it's streaming in browser gaming, but for the older sort of I haven't even been into the Neo Geo and the Pocket and the Commodore Amiga, and it's all there. Classic arcade. I don't know what's on there. It's just there is a ton of stuff.
That's really cool because you don't always want to. Some of the ROM emulators are a little bit hit and miss, aren't they?
Yeah.
So no, that's very cool. I will definitely be checking that out.
Worth checking out. I mean, I go to the games are there, and there's a ton of them. Alex the Kid, Aliens. I mean, pages and pages. I'll be very interested to see how Desert Strike. Do you remember that?
Desert Strike, yeah.
Yeah, Dino Land. What else? I mean, it's all there. Double Dragon.
This would be a good way of doing reviews for the channel, wouldn't it?
I think so. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
Yes.
Can't miss a bit of that. So yeah, so it's all there. So it's worth having a look. That was the best one I found. GameOldies.com. So I don't know if I might do a little quick review of the website actually on our YouTube channel. If I get 5 minutes, just do a bit of testing out and having a little look and a little play of a few games. And,
that's awesome. That is really a very, very good website. Well, good
cool. Okay, so that's really the end of my news. I mean, it's January. Nothing's happening.
No, it's a little bit.
You're okay because it's retro. It's already happened.
Yes.
So in terms of anything new, that it's very slow. It'll kick off again come February. So that's the end of my news this week.
Did you want to do a spotlight? Have we got time?
Yes, we have. Yeah, I think.
Excellent.
Yeah, we spoke. Rob and I spoke recently about doing some games from a not too far distance in memory, and as the Xbox 360 is now a last generation console, and will soon become retro. Hopefully not too soon. We just spoke. We're going to have a little chat about Gears of War. Which was really a console-defining game many years ago now. I'm just trying to remember when it came out.
2006.
Thank you very much. 2006. Wow. So that's That's 8 years ago. Incredible. And now, did you pick this up when it came out, Rob? Were you a?
I did indeed. I picked it up within the first week or so of it being released because it was. I got the 360 about September 2006. How I remember these things, I don't know, but I do remember. Because I just started my new job, and that was kind of a treat to myself, I think. And when I bought it, the guy at Blockbuster, rest in peace.
Yep.
The store, not the guy.
Yep, I did wonder.
He said, "Oh, you've got to get this game when it comes out. It's amazing. It's amazing." Gears of War. I was like, never heard of it. And obviously transpired it came out a couple of months later because it was November it came out.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was absolutely amazing. It was like you say, that the game-changing game.
It was. I think the Epic, the studio, called it Emergence Day, didn't they?
Yes.
The day that the game came out. Now I got it on the day, and I bought the I think I bought the special edition one, the one that came in the tin.
Yeah.
So it didn't have just the box, and it had a load of special.
Is that the one that came with a little action figure as well?
No. Oh, I didn't get that one. No, I actually got an action figure for Christmas about a year or two later. But absolutely.
Oh, excuse me.
And that was the sound of the chainsaw of Gears of War 1 when you miss the reloading button.
Yeah.
Now, it had some very, very good, unique selling points. This game, apart from being absolutely drop dead gorgeous to look at and play. I mean, I suppose in comparison to today, it's a little bit blandy looking, isn't it? A little bit brown, based on today's colourful shooters.
Yeah, a little bit. But
it wasn't too bad.
Colour palette, but the animation and everything else, I think, holds up pretty well. And
it was.
Are you still there?
Yes, I am. Sorry.
Cool. Okay.
when you reload your weapon, it was almost like a little mini game, wasn't it? Where you had this sort of you press to reload, and at the top of the bar, almost like a Tiger Woods classic kind of. If you hit it on the money shot, you get your first 20 bullets or 10 bullets have more power than the rest, and you can actually reload your weapon quicker by hitting the slider on in the zone, and that was very good. And of course, the main weapon and that was the shotgun with the chainsaw attached to it, which gave you this amazing melee option, didn't it?
Yeah.
It would, because the weapon wasn't brilliant. It was just the standard issue one. Because there were shotguns and things like that were slightly better, and the sniper rifles, which were also very good. But this weapon was just a very unique. And the guy who designed that must take a lot of credit to sort of taking this game to making it stand out amongst others.
Every game needs a sort of standout weapon. Doom had its BFG, didn't it?
Yeah.
And Gears of War, the Lancer gun, the Lancer rifle was amazing. It's just such a great game, and it opened certainly me up, and I'm probably you the same, to online gaming. Because before that there was only really Halo, and I
couldn't stand Halo. There was too many people jumping around in the
air. And you found that people were just so good at Halo, and you just kept dying. And although I've played the 4 main Halo games in a single player, done the campaign, they're okay, but I've no desire to ever go back to them. Gears of War, on the other hand, all of them, I would quite happily play now. I've got a couple of them. I haven't got all of them. I should really pick them all up again, because they're about 19 now, aren't they?
Yeah, I saw a little advert the other day that they're selling Judgment in Tesco's for £5.
Really?
Yeah, so I'll have to find out if that's real. I'll let you know. If I see it, I'll pick 2 up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's a cool game as well. But the way the game played, the cover element, which was such a fundamental thing. The fact that the camera is behind, it's third person rather than first person.
Yeah.
I just was able to pick it up and play it a lot better, and seemed to be better at it than any first person shooter I ever played.
You're absolutely right. It did have that kind of you felt good at it. even though you weren't as good as other people at it, quite clearly, but you still had the sort of the playing field was quite level, wasn't it? To begin with, and almost. I think that was one of the criticisms of the original, the multiplayer mode in the original one, where you couldn't get into parties with your friends on it. It had to be randoms, and it was just luck if you managed to be on the same team. And the chat as well was also, there was a problem with that for early doors. But again, nothing to detract from what absolute glorious fun this was. I spent many hours, many nights. In fact, I do remember one night, in fact, maybe 2 months after the game was out, I think over Christmas, I went up the pub with Steve. And we were up there for about 2 hours, a couple of beers, 2 or 3 pints. And all we talked about was Gears of War. We could not talk about anything else. It kept deflecting back to it, to the point where it came to about 9:30, and it said, "Right, sod it." He went home, I went home. We just met up again online. So instead of like being leading a normal life and socializing normally, we had to go home and get online and play multiplayer. And that's all we did. I had a very young child at the time. Yeah, that still didn't stop me from putting the hours on here.
I used to play a lot. The 2-player co-op as well, local, was good because Joe used to play it as well, and she loved it. So we used to play 2-player together and do all the campaign through. Both of us completed it, and
yeah, actually, it's probably the only. Yeah, I completed it with Steve on co-op. And that's why it stands out so much as one of the best last gen games for me, just because it was just all I could think about for months and months and months, and the gameplay and the fact I was not bad at it, and the fact I actually finished the main story, which made a lot of sense, and it's just it's a very, very good game. Of hide and seek, basically, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. But the story as well, that wasn't particularly groundbreaking. You generally cared about these characters, as they popped up in the sequels. It played like an extremely macho 80s action movie with Stallone and Schwarzenegger or something.
Well, they were huge, weren't they? I mean, the characters were just oversized. I mean, their machine guns were the size of motorbikes, weren't they?
Yeah,
they felt that big, and the weapons were. Do you remember that weapon that where you brought in the satellite to?
The Hammer of Dawn.
That's right.
Yes.
and it's one of the only games that I played in the last sort of 10 years where I didn't know the name of that weapon, but I read. The
know what the weapon does.
The weapons were fairly straightforward. You had your sniper, you had the lancer, you had the shotgun, you had the Gatling gun version.
The torque bow.
The torque, Christ, that was the exploding bow, wasn't it?
Yeah. Shoot an arrow at someone and then it blows up.
Oh, jeez. And I think that was one of the great things about playing online was just the variety and the power of the weapons. They felt so good. The animation,
the boomer, of course.
The boomer, it's just. I want to play it now.
yeah. I could happily play it now because I've got it on the. I haven't got it actually. No, I thought I did. I thought I downloaded it, but I haven't. I need to get the original. It's 99p in games.
Yeah, well, I think if you buy Judgment, you get Gears of War.
You get the original. That's true.
It's a free download, so you kill 2 birds, 1 stone. There, you got 2 and 3. You need 4 and 1.
Yeah.
So
but I've obviously played all of them. No, they're great, and we played 3, didn't we? A couple of weeks ago. It still played brilliantly, and I can see us playing that long after GTA was disappeared. I think, to be honest, which is a shame, but I think it's a testament to how good the Gears of War game engine is.
Yeah, I think they need, hopefully they've stopped doing them now, because I think, they need to be put by in the classic section, as I said.
They do.
3 or 4 games that were just genre defining.
Yeah.
They were Xbox 360 only.
That was great. Yeah, that was great. They always stayed on the 360 because that was the reason why I never got a PlayStation 3.
Yeah. Well, now was it? don't know if it was out then, was it?
Well, no, not that time. But I never sort of was tempted to graduate away from Microsoft.
Yeah, no.
Because I'd always want Gears of War. Halo was exclusive to Microsoft, to Xbox 2, but I didn't give a shit about Halo. It was all about Gears, at the end of the day.
Indeed. Yeah. No, that's very good. I actually I remember getting rid of my deluxe edition. I traded it in, a couple of years later, probably to get Gears 2. I can't remember.
Yeah, that came out 2 years later.
And now I picked up a copy of Gears 1 again because I just wanted it. I haven't, I bought it and I haven't played it. It's comforting to own it.
Yeah.
And I've actually it was on Xbox's gold free game.
Yeah.
In November, and I did download it just so I can add it to my download collection. I don't know. There might be a reason for having it in the future. And whatever they do, they suddenly let you do cloud gaming on anything you previously purchased or downloaded. So it's definitely worth having there. So.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be a shame when the 360 does, eventually die, because games like Gears will in a way die too, because it was all about the online multiplayer.
It is, but hopefully, with the technology everybody has nowadays, they can keep things going.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I mean, there's a game on the which was on the 360 and on Steam called Team Fortress 2.
Yes, I remember that. Part of the orange box, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah. So it's actually free on Steam. So if you ever did join Steam, they give you Team Fortress to play for free now, and Team Fortress 2. Sorry.
Yeah.
And amazingly, and this is going off on a bit of a weird angle here, but there's also a game called Dota 2, which came out last year on Steam. Now so Dota 2 and Team Fortress 2 are slightly older games that they're keeping alive, and some players play the game just to craft items to sell to other players of the game.
Right.
So that's kind of their what they do, and the money they're making on it is phenomenal. And now, I might be wrong here, but I think Steam have claimed that it's paid out over $40 million to Team Fortress 2 and Dota 2 players in items that have been sold to other players in the game. So you can make some serious money.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah. Anyway, so you never know. So these games like Gears of War will hopefully be kept alive by whatever comes around the corner.
Yeah, exactly. The gaming industry is changing so much, as the announcements you made last week with PlayStation Network and everything. So let's just hope that it does live on, because it is a classic, and it's the 5th best-selling Xbox 360 game of all time.
Is it really? That's great news. Yeah. So there we go. That's this week's sort of dip into the archives, I suppose you could say. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good.
Okie dokie. Well, we'll wrap things up there. Before we do you want to do your gamer tags and where people can find you and all that sort of thing?
Yep. So, indeed, yeah. So I'm on Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, Steam, and Twitter, and it's Rikki32, Rikki 32. Although, if you connect us up on Xbox Live, you'll probably be speaking to my son.
Yeah.
So no swearing, no swearing.
That's right. Cool. And I am Z Killer Frog, ZE space KILLA space FROG on Xbox Live, and on YouTube I'm Predaking79, which is PREDAKING 79 or 79. You can also find me on Twitter under Predaking79, and we have a Twitter feed for the podcast, which is Control Zone Pod, which at the moment I'm basically just putting updates to when we've got new podcasts out, so I should really do some more content for that. Really.
Yeah.
And obviously we've got our new YouTube channel as well, haven't we?
Yes, the Control Zone Podcast. So check it out.
Cool. And don't forget to check out the Nerdsphere Network, which we're part of, which is the nerdsphere.blogspot.com, which is basically a network of various podcasts, for everything from retro toy collecting to cult movies, and we'll obviously be video game representative for that. So definitely worth checking out if you can. Right, that's gonna wrap up episode 4. Thanks everybody for listening once again, and we'll be back next time with more news and random waffle about video games, old and new. Until next time, it's goodbye from me.
Yep, and it's a goodbye from him. Cheers.
See you later.
See you later. Cheers. Bye.